So you just made the correct decision to start playing Legends of Runeterra. You installed the game, you jumped in, now what? So I made this guide to just kind of give you good information on the first things to do when you're first starting out, a couple tips and tricks for you to help your transition into the game a little smoother. So yeah, let's get into it. So when you first log into the game, the most important thing you have to do is you pick your nickname, and you want to pick a nickname that really fits who you are. So I picked just a factual nickname. The game actually does a really good job of teaching you how, like, the basics of how Runeterra works. They teach you about your backline, about battling, and all the like basics of the game. So it does help you learn the game when you play the game, which is really, really awesome. I also do have a new player guide that I strongly recommend watching, not only because it's me doing it, but because it does help you give just like a grand overview of the game and how things work. I'll put a thing up there for you to click if you haven't seen it yet, but it gives you a good overview of the game in its whole. So after you've played all the tutorials, you're taken here to the prologue. As you go through these, you actually get a whole bunch of rewards. So you actually get decks, card, capsules. So in this game, there's not card packs, but you have card capsules, which is like a card pack if you played other games. You get a whole bunch of cards just by playing through this prologue tutorial thing. So as you play the game to start, you'll go along this prologue path here. As you complete your prologue, you get a whole bunch of stuff. So you get a bunch of cards just to start. They really fill your collection to start with, so that you don't feel like you just can't compete with anyone. Riot does a really good job of just bolstering your collection with stuff to start. So after you finish your first battle for your prologue, they'll take you to the home screen and kind of show you around. So I'll give you a quick tour. These are up here where your currencies lie that you gain in the game. So these are where your shards go. This is like an in-game currency that you earn just by playing. These are your coins. These are what you can buy. You buy coins if you want to use them for things like cosmetics. You can buy different guardians, different game boards. They'll be adding more as well. This is your little player portrait. The first thing you always want to do is make sure you have a cute Poro as your portrait. I think by default they do that, or mustache Poro is always good. But these are where you pick your little portrait. Daily quests are down here. So you get a new quest every single day. So those live down here. And then this is your vault. I have a video on how to maximize your vault as well, if you want to check that out. But basically how it works is as you gain experience and progress through the game and play it, the vault ranks up. The higher your rank over here, the more rewards you get every single Tuesday. So every Tuesday is called Vault Day. All the experience that you've accrued through the week goes into this giant vault, and you open it and get a ton of cards and a lot of shards and rewards. So the more you play, the more stuff you actually get, which is pretty dang sweet. Down here is where your collection's at. So this is where you can see all the decks that you have. You can see what cards you have. You can go through it. They explain it down here as well. Lux probably does a better job of explaining it than me. These are boards and guardians. So these are cosmetics that you can buy with money if you are so inclined. And then this is where your prologue lives. After you complete the prologue, that's when it's going to take you to your regions. And you can you gain rewards through your region as well. And we'll go over that in a minute. And then this is where you can play games. So you can jump in against players. We only have these few decks built. Obviously, you can play against AI. You can go through expeditions, which is like the drafting mode if you're familiar with Magic. It's a limited play mode. And then these are all the tutorials. So something I really recommend is to go through all these tutorials. It may seem a little bland, but trust me, there's a lot of nuances in this game. Going through the tutorials will make you a better player by far. Especially when you're starting out, you want every edge that you can get, and the tutorials give you a really good job of explaining game mechanics. Another thing about the tutorials is as you complete them, you get experience towards your prologue as well. And so by doing these tutorials, not only are you learning about how the game works, getting better knowledge, getting an edge over your opponent, but you're also unlocking stuff along the way. So there's no real reason not to do them. They will make you a better player, and you get stuff. And as I said, opening things is like the best, right? Just getting rewards. I love it. So once you're out of the prologue, what you want to do is choose a region to be your active region, which is where all of your experience goes. So everything you do in the game, you get experience for. Whether it's playing against other players, playing in the expedition, playing against the AI, all of that gives you experience. And when you're playing against players, you get experience whether you win or lose. So what you want to do is you first choose whichever region you like the most. Honestly, the best way to maximize your experience early on is to get every region to 4. So make one of these active, go through here, get it to level 4, and do that with all of the regions, because at level 4 you get the most rewards. You want to do that, get all your regions to 4, then get all your regions to 8, then get all your regions to 12, then get all your regions to 16, then complete them all. Every 4 levels you just get a really good reward, so that's kind of the best way to maximize your experience. So choose whichever one you think is the coolest, which is probably Piltover and Zon, and then get them all to 4, and then so on and so on. That's kind of the best way to maximize your experience for your rewards in the early game and to grow your collection. From then, you want to just start kind of building decks. So the first 3 decks that they give you is actually pretty decent. But if you want to build your own, you can just make a new deck and go through here and kind of build your own stuff. So they give you quite a bit of champions to start out with, which is awesome. So you can kind of experiment and see what you like. So another tip I have for you: when you first start the game and you start playing things, you'll notice that by default it automatically passes the turn for you if you don't have anything to do. So I played my Garen. If I were to attack with my stuff after my turn, if I don't have enough mana to do anything, so you can see I only have 2 spell mana. So after this attack phase, it'll give him obviously a chance to play something. So by default, it'll automatically pass the turn if you can't do anything. So you can turn this off. I highly, highly, highly recommend you do this because it gives a lot of information to your opponent. Sometimes you want to bluff that you have spells that you don't, or that you have cards that you don't. So just because you physically can't play something doesn't mean you should give your opponent that information. So if you go here to the options, the first thing you have is enable auto pass. I highly recommend you turn that off, hit done, and now it won't do that automatic passing thing for you. Information in card games is very important. If you've played other card games, you know this. You don't want to give your opponent free information if you don't have to. So another tip, when you're in battle, when you have either guys attacking or defending, you can use what's called the Oracle's Eye to see how combat will theoretically play out at the time of before things happen. So if the Oracle's Eye is this guy right here, so if I were to hover this, it's going to show me that my Garen here is right now not being blocked, so it's going to push 6 damage to the enemy nexus, so we can see if combat were to play out exactly like this, with nothing changed, if my opponent didn't change their blocks, if they didn't do anything with spells or anything, right now, my Braum would take the 3 damage from this Poro, and it's going to show that by his health going down to 4. My Garen's going to get through, deal his Nexus 6 damage, and this Poro is going to take 2 damage from my Braum. So right now, the Oracle Eye is saying, this is what's happening right now. Now I'm going to confirm my attack. If nothing changes, that's how combat plays through. Now we can see my opponent's attacking. So right now, if nothing were to change, his Poro is going to hit me for 3, dealing 3 to my Nexus, getting me down to 17. His Braum's going to take 2, and mine's not going to take anything. But if I were to change this, so this guy is overwhelmed, so let's just throw Garen in the way. Now we can see with that block, Garen's going to go down to a 7-4. He takes 3 damage from this. The Poro dies, and I take no damage. So I'm going to commit these blocks and see if that's how combat plays through. The Oracle's Eye is a super powerful tool. You can use it to see combat math, see if things are if you need to block, if you're taking lethal damage. It's something that I see a lot of, especially new players, not utilizing enough. It's a free tool that just shows you math. It does math for you, so you can be like, all right, this is a lethal attack. If your opponent doesn't see it, they don't block, that's their fault. So Oracle Eye, very powerful. Use it. I use it all the time in combat. I would get in the habit of using it. It's very sweet. Another tip, this here is the combat log. So this will show you what's been played on each round and what's happened on each round. So right now, let's go ahead. We're going to play Lux. And now we can see the log shows that I played Lux, and then we can see that he's played this Poro. It's really, really good to get in the habit, especially if you can't remember like what was played this turn. There's certain spells and effects that count when things have been played. So it's important to know what happened, especially if something got discarded. This will show you what your opponent discarded. So if you're ever like, man, I don't remember, did I play Lux this turn or last turn? You can go back and say, oh yeah, it was this turn. Or like, you can see what happened on as far back as you want to go. So combat log is also there. It's another tool that's just at your disposal that you can see. Another tip here, if your opponent is sending a lot of emotes, so you can see, if you click down on your name, you can see all the emotes that are available. So you can give whatever emotes. If your opponent's doing that too much and annoying you, this button right here will silence them. I kind of always silence my opponents all the time just because it annoys me when they just spam a whole bunch of things. It's kind of annoying, so I do that. That's another quick tip for you. And another thing is you can pet your Boro, and he gets very happy. So that's a very important tip. So another couple quick tips. So this is something that you probably don't want to get too much into the habit of doing, but sometimes it's fine. I do this all the time, so I don't take my own advice. But if you want to attack with everyone at once, you can actually hit the A key on your keyboard, and that'll attack with your entire team. You can do that if you want to be lazy, or if it doesn't matter what your attacks are. Then you can also, obviously, before you commit to anything, you can pull things out that you want to change. Another thing is you can actually click and drag to bring people in and out of combat. So like if I were to click and take these two, I could take them out. If I click and drag all these guys, I could take them all out of combat. It makes it quick, especially if you are like, oh, I don't want to attack with the selects, I just want to attack with everyone. You can click and drag, and then you can obviously change as you want. Another quick tip and something you can do, if you want to change, if you want to confirm what you're doing and go to the next phase, you can actually hit spacebar instead of clicking on the button here. So if I were to click spacebar here, it would confirm what I'm doing. My opponent gets to react, they get to do something, and then you can do that to go through between things. So if I want to say like, I'm gonna cast this spell on him and I don't want to hit this, you can just hit OK. It saves some time, especially when your opponent's, sometimes your opponent's being slow and annoying and you just want to get through phases. You can just hit space a bunch of times. I do that a lot, especially, you know, while I'm streaming. I don't want to like interact too much with the game and I'm hanging out with chat. I'll just use space to get through things. Like right now, my opponent's gonna do something, I don't care what he does, I can just hit space, go into the next phase. And then like I said before, I got a good attack here. I'm just gonna attack with everyone, hit space, bam, win the game. So another tip that I have for you is get acquainted with keywords. So remember, you can always right click on a card to look at it, see what it does. In the case for champions, you can obviously see what the leveled up form is if you click on it. And you can also see a champion signature spell if you click that. But if you're unsure about what a card does, it's better to just read it than to just not know. So you can see, especially if you don't remember what a keyword does, you can always just click and look. So this symbol means challenger. It gives you a little explanation of what challenger does. Braum also has regeneration, and it also explains that he fully heals at the start of each round because that's what regeneration does. But if you're ever unsure about what a keyword does, like if you can't remember exactly how tough is worded, you can see that it says tough, takes 1 less damage from all sources. It's important to just remember that if you don't know what something does, you can just right click on the card just to see what it does, and it explains exactly what challenger does, for instance. So just remember that if you're unsure about how something works, just read the card. It's a good habit to get into, and just another quick tip that I have for you. And then my last tip is don't be afraid to play against people. So whether you win or lose, you still get experience for playing against people. And so there's really no reason not to play against people. It can be a little daunting playing against people when you're new to the game, but honestly, just get out there, beat up some other opponents, learn some stuff, and so on and so forth. So also, like, it doesn't hurt to play against people in ranked. So this is gonna put you against people in the same rank. And if they're, you know, just starting out like you are, you're gonna be similar in rank. So honestly, playing against ranked is probably gonna be easier than playing in normal, because this is gonna put you against people in your same rank category, whereas normal can be the Wild West. And also, when you get expedition tokens, you should get 1 to start, I believe. Use those because you'll get a lot of experience, and this helps you build your collection as well. So pretty short and sweet, just kind of some good tips and tricks to help maximize your experience, help you build your collection, and just smoothen out your transition into Runeterra. Thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoy the game. If you have questions, I'm always available on Discord. Please hit me up. Comment in my YouTube. Let me know. I'm literally always available. I hope this this helps you out some, I have a lot more guides. If you want to go to saucymailman.com/guides, I have a lot of other new player guides for you. Some budget decks, some good starting decks for you, and I'm always updating that. I am super passionate about new player guides and helping you all out, help you get better at the game. This is something that I really, really love, and I'm literally always available, so hit me up. I'd love to have a conversation with you, and come by my Twitch stream as well if that's something you're into. I stream on Twitch every Monday, Tuesday, Friday, Saturday. I'd love to see you there. But yeah, enjoy your new journey into Runeterra, and hopefully I see you on the ranked ladder. Captain Farron! Decimate!
We can do this.
Decimate! Oh, if he has a deny, he doesn't die here, actually. There's no way he has another deny. Yeah! Captain Farron! Too good! Captain Farron is the strongest card of Legends of Runeterra. It needs a nerf. Rito, please nerf. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you like what you saw, it would mean a ton if you would hit that subscribe button, hit the little bell notification to be notified when I post some videos, share this with your friends, all that kind of stuff. You're amazing. I love you. And until next time, you stay saucy.